Let's explain market efficiency using this example. First, we want to show the consumer surplus measured by the area at the equilibrium. We're not going to do any calculations, we will just show the area. What is consumer surplus again? Consumer surplus is the difference between the buyer's willingness to buy and the price the buyers actually pay. What is the price that the buyers pay? It is the market equilibrium price. And it's $16 in our example, so I will draw this price line here. $16 is the price in this market. The buyers are paying $16. But we have many buyers in this market willing to pay more than $16. All these buyers willing to pay more than $16, they value the good highly and they want to participate in this market. These buyers will buy this good because they value the good most highly. They're willing to pay a higher price. So all these buyers will enter the market up to this point. As you see here, the last buyer's willingness to pay is $16. After that, buyers will not participate because they don't value, the additional buyers don't value the good as highly. So what is the consumer surplus? The consumer surplus is the buyer's willingness to pay. So on the demand curve, we have the buyer's willingness to pay, and the consumer surplus is the difference between the buyer's willingness to pay, which is on the demand curve, and the price line. Each of these buyers has a consumer surplus. What is the total consumer surplus? It is the total of the individual consumer surpluses. So we need to look at the area of this red triangle. We will just put the name of the area. So this is the consumer surplus and it is the AFB triangle. Consumer surplus is AFB triangle. We will do the same thing for producer surplus, and we know that the producer surplus is the difference between the price that the sellers receive and the seller's cost, which is the area between the price line and the supply curve. So in this market, only sellers with the least cost will participate. All these sellers will enter the market because their costs are less than $16. Each seller will have a gain or producer surplus from participating in this market. Each of these sellers will have a producer surplus up to this point. And after this point, after this equilibrium point, no other sellers will participate in this market because the additional seller's cost will be higher. So the market allocates the resources efficiently by telling those sellers with higher costs to produce something else. They shouldn't be producing in this market because their costs are too high. So only those sellers with the least cost will participate in the market. What is producer surplus? It is the area between the price line and the supply curve, and we're just going to put that area here. That would be FBD, FBD triangle. Now we need to find, after finding the producer surplus, we need to find the total surplus. Let's put that here. Total surplus is the total of consumer surplus and producer surplus, which would be the larger triangle here, A, B, D triangle. Or it is the combination of the red triangle and the brown triangle. So let's put that here, ABD. ABD is the total surplus in this market. Now, one last question. We want to explain if the equilibrium allocation of resources is efficient. Here is the equilibrium. Here we have the equilibrium. Now we want to explain the efficiency rules. Number one rule, market efficiency rule, is that only buyers who value the good most highly will participate in the market. If you look at all these buyers here, they value the good most highly because they're willing to pay higher prices. Willingness to pay is giving us how much value the consumers, the buyers, are getting from consuming that product. So number one rule is buyers who value the good most highly will participate. If we look at the seller's side, which sellers will participate in the market? All these sellers with the least cost will participate in the market. Sellers with the least cost participate in the market. And at the equilibrium, we see that total surplus is maximized, and that is the only point where total surplus is maximized, and that is this 6 unit produced in this market. If the market produces less than that, the total surplus will be not maximum. If the market produces more than 6, let's say 7 units, again, the total surplus will not be maximum. So only the equilibrium will give us total surplus that is maximum. And the last rule, market efficiency rule, is that at the market equilibrium, value to the buyer equals to the cost to the seller. Let's take a look at the last buyer here. The last buyer values the good at $16. The last buyer is willing to pay $16. And when you look at the last seller, the last seller's cost is also $16. And at the equilibrium here, value, so let's put that here, value equals cost. If we look at any other quantity other than the equilibrium quantity, let's say 4 units here, value to the buyer will be higher than the cost to the seller. So we're not going to have efficiency or market efficiency here. If we take another point above the market equilibrium quantity, let's say 8 units this time, the cost to the seller, the cost will be greater than the value to the buyer. Once again, that will violate the market efficiency rules, and we can say that the market is efficient at any quantity above 6 units. So the market is only efficient at 6 units. It's when the price is $16. Always remember these 4 market efficiency rules. If we violate one of them, we violate market efficiency. We cannot say the market is efficient. So we need to satisfy all these 4 market efficiency rules.